Listening to Jesus when he warns of Satanism is of paramount importance in today's world. As Christians, we are often reminded of the spiritual battle that rages on between good and evil, with Satan being the primary adversary. Jesus, being the Son of God, has a deep understanding of the enemy's tactics and strategies, and he repeatedly warns his followers about the dangers of Satanism. In the Bible, Jesus is quoted as saying, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life, and of it to the full." John 10:10. This verse emphasizes the contrasting nature of God's and Satan's plans for humanity. While God desires to give us life in abundance, Satan seeks to steal, kill, and destroy. By listening to Jesus' warnings about Satanism, we can be aware of the enemy's schemes and take necessary precautions to protect ourselves and our loved ones. One of the primary ways Satan operates is through deception. He is the master of lies and half-truths, often presenting himself as an angel of light. 2 Corinthians 11:14. Jesus warns us about the dangers of deception, saying, "Watch out for false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves." Matthew 7:15. By being aware of Satan's deceptive tactics, we can be cautious when encountering teachings or ideologies that seem appealing but contradict biblical truth. Another important aspect of listening to Jesus' warnings about Satanism is recognizing the spiritual battle that rages on within us. As Christians, we are not immune to the enemy's attacks, and we must be vigilant in our spiritual lives. Jesus teaches us to put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. Ephesians 6:13. By putting on the armor of God, which includes truth, righteousness, and faith, we can withstand the enemy's attacks and emerge victorious. Moreover, listening to Jesus' warnings about Satanism helps us to understand the nature of spiritual warfare. We are not fighting against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces of evil. Ephesians 6:12. This understanding is crucial in our daily lives as we encounter various challenges and struggles. By recognizing the spiritual dimension of our struggles, we can pray effectively, using the weapons of warfare that God has provided for us, such as prayer, fasting, and the Word of God. In addition, Jesus' warnings about Satanism emphasize the importance of discernment in our lives. We are called to test the spirits and discern whether they are from God or not. 1 John 4:1. By listening to Jesus' warnings, we can develop a keen sense of discernment, enabling us to distinguish between truth and error, and to avoid being led astray by false teachings. Finally, listening to Jesus' warnings about Satanism reminds us of the importance of humility and dependence on God. We are not capable of fighting the enemy on our own, and we need God's power and protection to overcome the forces of darkness. Jesus teaches us to humble ourselves before God, and He will lift us up. James 4:10. By acknowledging our limitations and weaknesses, we can rely on God's strength and wisdom to guide us through the spiritual battles we face. In conclusion, listening to Jesus when he warns of Satanism is essential for Christians in today's world. By being aware of the enemy's tactics and strategies, we can protect ourselves and our loved ones from the dangers of Satanism. By recognizing the spiritual battle that rages on within us, we can put on the full armor of God and emerge victorious. By understanding the nature of spiritual warfare, we can pray effectively and use the weapons of warfare that God has provided for us. By developing discernment, we can distinguish between truth and error, and avoid being led astray by false teachings. And by acknowledging our limitations and weaknesses, we can rely on God's strength and wisdom to guide us through the spiritual battles we face.